And good to be with you on this Friday night. I am Jason Page. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. Producer Vlad is here as well. A busy 3 hours ahead. We will get to a lot of NFL over the course of this program, and a lot of it in this hour in particular. We'll get into some of the key injuries for week 2 and what they all mean. So we'll make sure to get you all that, because it all matters for the lines. It all matters for your fantasy lineups. In the final hour of the show, we'll do Page's picks. In hour 2, we'll talk to Kevin Ioli, one of the great boxing writers that covers the sport. Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez are meeting up this weekend, and that obviously has a lot of people talking. We will talk about it as well. Coming up in about 18 minutes, when it comes to Trey Lance, all of the signs are there, and they're not good. But coming up in just a few minutes, did the Chargers put their entire season at risk last night? I want to get into that. We'll also be following all the big games going on tonight around Major League Baseball. I mean, look, you're talking about basically 2.5 weeks left in the season. Pennant races, wild card chases. I got the Yankees and Brewers on the screen behind me, and the Yankees trying to hold on to a lead in that game. The Brewers not making it easy. Milwaukee trying to still figure out a way to get into the postseason as a wild card team. They're not going to be able to win the division. They had a big slump in the second half, much similar to the way the Yankees did. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in that game. Frankie Montas didn't give the Yankees anything tonight. And frankly, he hasn't given them anything since they traded for him. I mean, there's a good chance that, depending on where the Yankees wind up in the whole postseason, and you assume they're obviously going to win the division, so they're going to be in one of the longer series, you have to wonder if Montas even gets a start at this point. I mean, would you start Frankie Montas? I wouldn't. He hasn't given you any reason to. We'll get into all of that and Justin Herbert as we continue. I'm Jason Page, just getting started on a Friday edition of The Cash In. It's good to have you with us on Sports Map Radio and the Sports Map Radio app. Am I talking to you? good to have you with us on this Friday edition of the show. Can't believe it. We're already wrapping up our second week of the Cash In on Sports Map Radio and the Sports Map Radio app. Our executive producer is Vladimir Louisant. Austin is in Houston at Master Control producing things there. We'll keep an eye on the Major League Baseball throughout this first hour of the show and give you any interesting live lines that we happen to get a read on. We'll do that as we go through the hour. But I want to start with the news out of San Diego. San Diego again. Jesus. I should have to put like $1 in a jar every time I say San Diego. The news out of Los Angeles involving the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who last night took a big hit, and then frankly he took another big shot on the very next play after they called a timeout, and clearly he was injured, suffering from a rib injury, and still he was able to drive the team down the field to score a touchdown in the closing minutes of what would be a loss in Kansas City, 27-24. But all of us were waiting, not on the edge of our seats per se, but we were all anxious to find out exactly what was the injury to Justin Herbert. And we found out today. His head coach, Brandon Staley, spoke to reporters, and this is what he said.
Justin has a fracture to his rib cartilage, and it's good news. It's better than having a fracture of your bone, in the ribs. But the CT scan did confirm that, and he's day-to-day. I think we'll know a lot more about practice and stuff like that on Wednesday.
Now, and look, this could be Monday morning quarterbacking, or in this case, Friday morning quarterbacking or Friday night quarterbacking, because of the fact that he, this injury was sustained on a Thursday as opposed to a Sunday. But I think it's very fair to ask the question, who was looking out for the health of Justin Herbert on Thursday night? I mean, you could visibly see. Sometimes guys could suffer injuries and they could kind of slough it off, and you won't know they're hurt, and then you'll find out, after the game. Look at Tom Brady as an example. He took some shots and he was a little banged up, and we found that out throughout this week. But nobody knew at the time they were beating up on the Cowboys that Tom Brady wasn't 100% or that he was banged up, or that he took some shots and was kind of feeling it. Nobody really knew that until well after the fact. And in the case of Justin Herbert last night, you knew he was hurt. You didn't need to be a doctor. I didn't need to, get my buddy Dr. Ben Wedrow from WebMD on the show. I didn't need to have any of that to know something was wrong with Justin Herbert. Now, if you see a guy kind of wobbling off the field in the NFL, you go and get him checked for a concussion. That's the norm. That's the standard, right? Well, what about the standards medically when a guy is clearly hurt? He couldn't even run the 1 yard for a first down when he had a wide open lane in front of him on a 3rd and 1 on the drive that would eventually lead to a touchdown. He could not run. He could not even jog that little bit and slide forward. That's how hurt he was. And clearly in between every play, he was holding his side. He was holding his rib cage. You knew something was wrong. And this is your franchise quarterback. This is the guy that could lead the Los Angeles Chargers one day, and who knows, maybe even this year, to the promised land. This is the guy you're counting on to take you there. And it seemed like nobody cared. Nobody cared enough to see if this guy was seriously injured. And when it comes to ribs, there's no way to know. Now, you want to argue with me and say, hey, they have no way to really check in that moment. It wasn't like he was spitting up blood, which would have given some clue as to internal injuries, if something was punctured. But the fact of the matter is, in such a short period of time, there's really no way to know. So you err on the side of caution if it's me. When you're talking about your franchise quarterback, you're down 10 at that point. You're probably not winning that game. Mathematically, you're probably not winning that game. And granted, they got it to an onside kick, and the kick was muffed, but the Chiefs were able to hop on top of it. All of that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact that in all likelihood, you're not winning that game, and you're putting your entire season at risk. Because let's be honest, no matter what you think of Chase Daniels, you're not going to the promised land with Chase Daniels. He's not the reason that Charger fans are packing. Well, it's not Charger fans packing that stadium, so maybe that doesn't work. But you know what I mean. To me, it's just, it is a mind-boggling decision. And I would love to know if anybody in that organization is being held to account. Because Herbert took some huge shots in that game. Even his coach said so.
Yeah, it was just a tough NFL game, and he took some big hits. And none of those big hits had any impact on him bringing his team back like he always does.
You don't think they had an impact? Listen, Justin Herbert showed his gutsiness. Justin Herbert showed his moxie. In fact, on a night where he threw a pick six that probably lost them the game, whether you believe it was his fault or not, and Tony Gonzalez after the game, and we talked about it on the show last night, Tony Gonzalez said that's not his fault. The receiver's winded, but you got to give effort. I mean, you got to give some kind of effort on that play.
He couldn't.
No, stop it, Vlad. I'm not even going to argue about this. He has got to in that spot. He cannot hang his quarterback out to dry on the 1 yard line. Can't do it.
No.
Tony Gonzalez is 100% right.
No, he's not, because
hung him out to dry.
He did.
I know exactly what happened the 2 plays before. I get it.
It wasn't 2 plays before. It was the play right. It was the exact play before. He threw a third down. The man caught the ball, ran 15 yards for a first down.
I said the 2 plays before. He made 2 receptions on the 2 plays prior.
He got hurt the play before. He was even asking to get out. He was looking to get out of the game, but Herbert wanted to go quick snap.
He was winded. He was winded.
No, he wasn't winded. He was hurt.
He was winded. He was standing on the sideline talking to him afterwards.
He was banged up.
He was winded. You still have to make an effort in that spot. You have to.
If you're banged up,
Herbert drove the team down the field with fractured ribs. Don't talk to me about it. Come on.
Jason,
just stop. I'm not going to, first of all, I'm not arguing about it. I'm not arguing about it. Vlad, I'm not arguing about it. I'm not arguing about it. Not arguing about it. That isn't the point. You can't have Herbert on the field in that situation when you can physically see he's not going to pull himself out of the game, by the way. He's not going to pull himself out of the game because that's not the kind of guy he is. He is the franchise quarterback. He knows that he's got a zillion people watching this game on Amazon Prime. He's not going to pull himself out of that game. Somebody had to be the grown-up on the sideline and get him off the field so that he doesn't hurt himself and, as a result, hurt the team. Notice, by the way, I said hurt himself first because I know a lot of people, when it comes to sports betting and fantasy sports and pick'em games, it's all, well, but you're going to make my team lose. Well, the guy's health could have been at risk, and you've got him out there on the field in that spot. In a game you're probably going to lose. And yeah, he was able to throw a touchdown late, and everybody's talking about the moxie of Justin Herbert. But at what cost could it have come? If those ribs are banged up worse in that spot, and you have no way of knowing until after the game and frankly the next day, you have no way of knowing how bad that injury is. How can you have him out there on the field in that position? This isn't some throwaway, disposable player. You know, some guys in the league, there's a million running backs. One gets hurt, you plug in another. Wide receiver gets hurt, you go to the practice squad and get another guy. You don't do that with this guy. These guys don't come along very often. You got to protect this guy at all costs, even if it means throwing in the towel. It's called losing the battle to win the war. And to me, the Chargers failed miserably in protecting their most vital asset. You got a thought on it? Let us know. 800-224-2004. 800-224-2004. You can tweet at me at the back page. Hit me up there on Twitter at the back page. And by the way, if you follow me on Twitter, send me a note. I'm not talking about a direct message. Just drop into my mentions. You're automatically entered to win for our giveaways every Wednesday on the show. We give away something cool every Wednesday on the show. Just for listening, just for following on Twitter, you have a chance to win something. So go to Twitter, follow me there at the back page. Those of you watching the show on our Decibel 88 feed, you'll actually see my Twitter feed in the lower third of the screen. So you can go and check that out. All right, from Justin Herbert to another young quarterback, this one in San Francisco. Yeah, the 49ers said Trey Lance is going to be the starter, but when it comes to him, all the signs are there, and they're not the good signs. I'll explain what I'm talking about as we continue on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. This is Sports Map Radio. Ouch.
Are you loved in San Francisco?
What'd you say?
Are you loved in San Francisco?
Am I loved?
Yeah, because I'm trying you, bro. Nobody responded to me except for Mayoka last night, but he said he wasn't feeling well.
Try Kawakami.
I might try Kawakami.
We got Kawakami. We used to get Kawakami once in a while.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was back in the days when cats were,
He's still there. I know he's still there. It's all right. I mean, look, I did enough prep.
I even tried Derek Deese.
I got enough. I did enough prep, and I've got enough content for. I've got enough content.
All right, you know what? I'll text Kyle because. All right, I'll text somebody.
Yeah, I can plug somebody.
Sent things out.
Huh?
It's the West Coast. I've sent messages out, so it's the West Coast. So they might get it, and then all of a sudden I get like 2, 3, bing, bang, yeah, I can do it and stuff like that. But
it's fine. We're live, so it's not like I can't just plug somebody in.
But I have to give somebody credit, like somebody that I tried to get on. They said he couldn't do it because they had to watch their kids today. So, but he gave me like 4 contacts from the Athletic to use anytime.
Oh, really?
Football, fantasy, yeah. Nando Finaro. We had him when we were on NBC. So, Pujols went yard.
Did he? Is that 698?
Yeah, it's a 2-1 jack.
He's going to get to 700. He's going to get to 700. Yankees and Brewers are tied at 5. Wow, Yankees are a dog at bottom of the 5th in a tie game against the Brewers. It's interesting. Continuing with... Now it works. Colton Wong is 5'7".
Okay.
Baseball players aren't 5'7" anymore. Like, that's crazy. Like, he looks like a little leaguer. Hold on. Come back.
Go tell him that.
Come back. I'm gonna.
You gonna go tell him that.
All right, I'm just gonna say it. Vlad said to say it to his face, and if I could, I'd try to find some humorous way to say it. I'll tell you what, Vlad. If you get him on the show, here I go. I will make you a promise. This should be all the motivation you need. It's not going to be a Jim Everett, Jim Rome moment where, I'm calling him Chris Everett or anything like that. But if you, executive producer Vlad, get me Colton Wong on this show, beg, borrow, steal, I don't care how you do it, I promise I will tell you what I just said to you during the break, which is Colton Wong looks like a little leaguer. He's 5'7". There might be little leaguers playing in the Little League World Series that are bigger than him.
I said say it to his face.
Yes. And
You're
like
not
I said,
saying it to his face. You'll be saying it over the phone or.
Well,
or
I don't have the opportunity to see him, face to
I want you to
face.
say it to his face.
I think I could find a humorous way to make light of the fact that he is a foot shorter than Aaron Judge.
Yeah, but he's a foot taller than you, probably.
No, he's not. I'm 5'9". I am 5'9". I'm a legit 5'9", even though in my dating profiles back when I had them, I used to say I was 5'10", just because I wanted that extra inch to get to double figure inches. I used to always say I was 5'10", but now I can't hide it anymore. I'm 5'9". Colton Wong's 5 foot, and listen, and I say it as a compliment. By the way, this isn't me trying to, be mean. I say it as a compliment. There are literally only a couple of guys that are under 5'10" playing Major League Baseball. Those guys just don't get a look. And Colton Wong's 5'7". It just doesn't happen. It's great. It's a great story. I mean, there's probably a Disney movie to be made about it or something.
Oh my gosh!
What? Again, I'm not being mean.
No, you're not. But I hated that back in the days when just because somebody might be.
A guy sits in the minor leagues for 10 years. And
whatever challenge.
Wasn't it Dennis Quaid that played that guy?
Who was Dennis Quaid? He
right?
was what?
It's always Dennis Quaid, yeah.
Wasn't he like the Devil Ray pitcher?
Something yes, that's what it was. I think you're exactly right. I think it was a D-Rays. It's when they were the Devil Rays, too. So it's actually fair for you to call them that. By the way, can I put this out there? Yankees and Brewers are tied at 5 in the bottom of the 5th. And I'm all about live betting. Get me some good live bets, and I'll jump all over it. And it's on our screen if you're watching the show on Decibel 88's Facebook page. The Yankees-Brewers game, 5-5, bottom of the 5th. The Yankees right now at -110. The Brewers at -116. I would jump all over the Yankees at -110. Even on the road, I know the Brewers get the last at bat and all of that stuff. And if it comes down to extra innings, it's an advantage for the Brewers. I take the Yankees because that bullpen's really good. And you don't even have to tell me what the Brewers bullpen looks like, by the way. I don't care. Because the Yankees are among the best, if not the best, still in baseball. And now I think the odds makers are getting keen to it. A couple outs in the bottom of the 5th. Now the Yankees are -126. So the money must be flowing towards the Yankees because the odds are getting worse as we speak. But a couple of minutes ago, they were like +108, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I wish I could hammer this right now. Let me tell you, I've started to get into looking at the live betting, and it's really making me sad that we don't have sports betting here in California yet. I may have to go stuff some ballot boxes on whatever day election day is here in November. You'd think I'd know, but I have no idea. Yankees? Oh, see, now they're -128. The moment has passed. The moment has passed. Coming up in about 9 minutes. Key injuries for week 2 in the NFL and how they might impact the line. By the way, let me give you a great story, Vlad, this morning. So I'm dead asleep. 4:58 in the morning, my phone rings. Pick up the phone. Hello? Jay, you ready to go? Huh? Ready to go for your hit with us this morning? I forgot I was being interviewed this morning on a radio station in Connecticut at 8 a.m. Eastern. 5 a.m. out here when it's still pitch dark, frankly, the middle of the night for me. And I had to get on. And all they want to do is talk to me about like betting odds and who you picking and this game and that game, because obviously sports betting's legal in Connecticut. And I totally forgot that I had this spot. Usually I just, I program my phone. It reminds me, it wakes me up 10 minutes before. I can have a cup of coffee, get ready to do the spot. Totally forgot today. It's a bad job by me not putting it in my phone, but man, it's no fun doing an interview with like 2 minutes of notice and having to be like sharp and pick games. And you know me, my philosophy is I don't really like picking games for people because I don't want people losing their money if I get it wrong. Well, the guys who host the morning show are friends of mine. And they asked me to do them a favor.
Then do your research.
Well, I mean, I had a few games that I felt okay about. I obviously had some stuff in mind that we were going to do for Paige's picks tonight. But then they started asking me. Then they started asking me about games that I didn't want to touch. And when I said I wouldn't touch that game, I started to get well, why not? I'm sitting there like, really? We're going to go there? If I say that's a game I don't want to touch, it's because it's just too difficult to call. Like, people, see, it's a classic rock station, and they talk about a lot of sports stuff because their audience is very similar in crossover nature to what we do in sports. It's a very similar audience. So they bring me on. But these aren't like sports addicts. These aren't like diehard sports fans who host the show. So, they don't understand why I don't give them a pick on a game. When it comes to Trey Lance, all the signs are there, and they are not good signs. There are more and more reports out there right now suggesting that Trey Lance won't be the starter much longer in San Francisco. Virtually everybody is out there reporting. Longtime NFL reporter Jason La Canfora of the Washington Post speculating that the organization will be quick to switch to Garoppolo if Lance and the Niners fall to the Seahawks on Sunday. And it's just a hypothesis from La Canfora, but there's a lot of people out there right now that basically have the same that essentially have the same vibe. One person who doesn't is Chris Sims with the NFL on NBC. He has the Unbuttoned podcast. It's one of your favorites. On Tuesday, he didn't mince words, stating, I've heard from people I know around the NFL that go, there are prominent people in the 49ers locker room that go, Jimmy G is better. So that's a real thing. So, if Jimmy G, or rather, if Trey Lance and the Niners are 0-2 after their Sunday game against the Seahawks, will Jimmy Garoppolo be the quarterback in week 3?
I told you, yes.
800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Tweet me your opinion at the back page. Again, you can hit me up there on Twitter at the back page if you think the 49ers will make a change. Now, should they make a change? Because, listen, I'm going to say it right now. If you're making a change after week 2 from Trey Lance to Jimmy Garoppolo, then you never had any belief in Trey Lance, and you shouldn't have been even toying with the idea of exiling Jimmy Garoppolo if you didn't have another option. I mean, how is it that just after 2 weeks you can make a decision? And don't tell me, well, these guys, they're in the locker room and they see this and they see that and they're on the practice field. A lot of times I'll buy that. But all I heard was about how great Trey Lance is. And now after a training camp, a few snaps in the preseason, and one game on a terrible field condition in Chicago against the Bears in week 1 without George Kittle, I'm supposed to believe that Trey Lance can't play? I feel like the guy's getting railroaded. And I'm not even sure he's going to be a good quarterback, but I just want a chance to find out. Key injuries for week 2 in the NFL. We'll get to them next. I'm Jason Page. This is the Sports Map. This is the Sports Map. It's the Cash In on Sports Map Radio. It's good if I know the name of the show.
You think?
Oh my God, I would kill to have that Yankees pick right now. Keeps going up, minus 136. Just sitting here watching it. How'd the Orioles do tonight?
They lost.
Did they?
Mhm.
Damn. Where are you? I muted the stream. Where are you? Flanked by our intrepid executive producer, Vladimir Lewis, huh? You're militant, but I still love you. Remember the movie?
Intrepid.
Remember the movie?
Jeez. I'm intrepid now?
No, I said militant. I said you're militant, but I still love you. Remember the movie?
No.
Jerry Maguire. When Rod Harris was his Rod Tidwell. Rod Tidwell.
Rod Tidwell.
When Rod
Come on,
Tidwell's
man.
being
Cuba
interviewed,
Gooding Jr.
when he's being interviewed by Roy Firestone at the end, he gets the contract, starts thanking everybody, thanks his younger brother.
Oh, at the end when he's crying.
Yeah. It's my
You know who
brother.
His brother is, right?
Who's his brother?
Ari. I think his brother's Ari Spears.
Really?
Yeah, the comedian that's in trouble now. I believe. I have to check it.
I did not
think
know
that's
that. Wow. Not interesting. Only because I spotted it earlier and tried to give you guys a little betting advice about hammering the Yankees on the live line. Just to update you on it. The Yankees right now 5-5 in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Yankees right now minus 110. Brewers minus 116. So you could still get the Yankees at a good price. This is a team that's won a ton of close games this year. A lot of extra inning games. So if it goes extras, you still like their chances. Even on the road. Better bullpen. Playing good baseball. 8 or 9-4 now in the month of September. I think it's 9-4 in the month of September. But it's a must-win for the Brewers. I mean, they're a desperate team. They got to get this game. So proceed at your own risk, but if it were me, I would hammer the Yankees at -110 on the live line right now. Because it's not often you're getting a team that's, well, I will just say going to win 100 games. We've already had this debate on the show. I think they're going to win 100. Vlad doesn't. But but let's just say, for the sake of what I'm saying, if it's a team that's going to win 100 games, how often can you get a team starting from level par in the 6th inning at -110 that's going to win 100 games? Doesn't happen. So you got to jump all over that. By the way, we put up a poll on my Twitter feed at the back page. Actually, I don't even know if I told Vlad about this. I put up a poll on our Twitter feed.
No, I saw it.
At the back page about how I thought the Yankees would do if they would get to 100 wins. I'm trying to find the poll. What I can tell you is, oh, here it is. I found the poll. I said the Yankees are 87-56. Will they get to 100 wins? Yes or no? 63% voted no. 37% voted yes. So just because, for the sake of transparency and being honest, I could be one of those people that just doesn't tell you what the polling said, but I'm not that kind of guy. The listeners and viewers made their case for what they think will happen. They're wrong, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So 5-5 as they play in the top of the 6th in Milwaukee, Yankees and the Brewers. All right, let's get to some injuries. Next hour, by the way, we've been wondering what the next shoe to drop could be in this whole NBA Robert Sarver situation in Phoenix with the Suns. Well, it started happening on Friday, and if we were placing odds on it right now, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll get to that coming up in about 20 minutes here on the show. So, NFL injuries for this week, and obviously we'll run through these as fast as we can, but we'll also give you what it all means for some of the lines as well. Patriots and Steelers. The good news for the Patriots in this game is Mac Jones is not on the injury report. And a lot of people were wondering if he would be because he really got banged up. His back was bothering him. He was dealing with an illness as well. No designations for Mac Jones. And boy, it's kind of unusual for the Patriots to give him no designation. Usually they give designations to guys that aren't even hurt. So, kind of interesting that of all the teams that like to finagle the injury report, the Patriots didn't do it this week. -2 against the Steelers. Keep an eye on that game on Sunday. You know, look, are they going to be able to protect Mac Jones? I mean, that's the question. I think he was sacked 2 or 3 times in that game, but he was hit a lot more than that. Patriots on the money line, -142. As a matter of fact, the line has jumped to 2.5 on FanDuel. Patriots, -142 on the money line. Steelers, +120. You know how I feel about home dogs, Vlad.
I'm really shocked that they're a home dog. Like, that's a lot of love for Belichick.
It is, and I think it's also a combination of that and Mitchell Trubisky.
Well, I understand that, but you also got to give the love to if you're giving love to Belichick, you got to also give love to
Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I listen, and maybe that's why it's that. Maybe they actually think it. Maybe they actually think the Patriots are even better. I don't know. Maybe they don't think the Patriots will go 0-2. And I'm sure there's some deeper numbers behind it if we start to go inside the crazy numbers too.
And a neutral field, that means they think the Patriots will be a 4.5, 5 point
favorite. And that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Carolina and the Giants. Well, I always like to say there's one game every week where the odds makers get it terribly wrong, baby. Maybe that's the one. You go every week in the NFL, you will find when the week is done, and the goal is for me as somebody who likes to slam one game hard, to find that one game every week where odds makers get it wrong.
That's the one to me. I love that game in the under.
There you go. Carolina at the Giants, -2 for Big Blue. For the Panthers, Brandon Smith is doubtful with a thigh injury. Smith is dealing with a groin injury. He's questionable. For the Giants, a million guys are hurt. Kayvon Thibodeau is out as of today, dealing with a knee injury. A lot of people were wondering if he might get back on the field. Kadarius Toney is hurt with a hamstring injury. So you know what that means? A lot of Saquon Barkley again. And if it's anything like it was last week, I like the under. Minus 40 and 43.5 for the total in that game. I love the under. And the Giants minus 1.5 at home in week 2. So keep an eye on that game as well. The Jets in Cleveland to take on the Browns minus 6.5. Of course, Zach Wilson remains out. CJ Uzomah remains out. A couple of receivers are injured for the Jets as well. For the Browns.
Who?
Braxton Berrios.
Oh, come on.
Doubtful with a heel
You
injury.
said a couple of receivers.
One receiver, in fact.
Okay, thank you.
Robert Saleh already announced Joe Flacco would be the starter on Sunday, so that obviously remains the case. See what the Jets do in week 2 after a loss at home in week 1 in Cleveland against the Brownies. Colts minus 3.5 against the Jaguars. Nothing really big there. Just looking through some of the injuries. Michael Pittman, I guess that's a fairly big one. Yeah, Michael Pittman.
You damn right, that's a big
dealing
one
with
for
a quad
fantasy
injury.
owners.
No, I get it. Dealing with a quad injury. Hoping that he'll be fine, but sidelined twice this week during practices. Jaguars, no injuries to speak of. And now this is the one that I think a lot of people find fascinating, and that is the Buccaneers and the Saints. A lot of people don't realize it, but Tom Brady's never beaten the Buccaneers as the starting quarterback for the he's never beaten the Saints as starting quarterback for the Buccaneers.
In the regular season.
Yes.
No, make sure you say that.
So it's very interesting to see what happens in that game. Mike Evans dealing with a calf injury. Leonard Fournette, a hamstring injury. And we know how vital a part of the offense they were on Sunday in the Sunday night win. Julio Jones. Oh, my God, what a shock. Even with TB12. Julio Jones is on the injury report, ladies and gentlemen.
So what? Doesn't mean he's not playing. So is James.
But he's just always hurt.
He gets banged up. You know. I love guys who've never played the game.
Hey,
He's always
listen,
hurt.
but he's just
nicked up.
there's a lot of guys that have played the game and don't get hurt, though.
He's
As
nicked
much
up,
as him.
okay.
He's always hurt.
Brady's always on the injury report when he was in New England. Always. He still played.
Well, there's a difference.
like
He
he was
always
hurt.
played. Jones misses a lot of games. It's just saying. Listen, I love the guy. I mean, he's a fantasy beast when he's on the field. I was
That's
all
your way of
excited.
showing
I was
love.
all
I don't wanna see
excited.
you hate.
I was excited as anybody when I heard he got on TB12. I'm watching him last week. He's diving all over the field, making plays. And then I turn to my injury report this week before we get on the air, and I find out Julio Jones is on the injury report. But more interestingly is, how's Tom Brady feeling? Yeah, he's not on the injury report, but he's not feeling great either. And there's more turmoil and tumult in his private life that we'll get to a little later on in the show as well. All that being said, look at the line for the game. It's Tampa Bay. Right now, let me get the most updated line on it. Tampa Bay is... Come on. Scroll. Minus 2.5 for Tampa Bay right now. So that line has not moved. Minus 2.5, and the total is 43.5 in New Orleans
did
against the
practice,
Saints. Let me look and see. Did Jameis practice? Kamara is listed as questionable for Sunday, but he did not practice on Thursday and Friday, which means he could be a true game time decision.
That's definitely a game time decision.
And Winston practiced on a limited basis on Friday. He's playing in that game, though.
Right.
Gotta believe he is. Otherwise, I think that line would be different. So I think Vegas has information that he's going to play. Otherwise, that line would have to be considerably higher than just 2.5. If he plays, who do you like?
I'm taking the Bucks.
Okay,
I'm going with Tom this season.
just riding it till the wheels fall off, huh?
23 years, what is it? 22 seasons.
Just riding it till the wheels fall off.
I'm just gonna enjoy greatness, man. The man is great, and I gotta follow my motto. Just enjoy greatness, even if it's against you. Just enjoy it. Because
Is that why you work with me? You enjoy greatness. Now it all makes so much sense. You enjoy greatness. Okay, it's good.
If you think the reason why I work with you is for your greatness,
It's absolutely.
yeah.
Seahawks 49ers minus 8.5 for San Francisco in that game. Which I'm not gonna lie to you, I think is nuts. I know Jamal Adams is out, and for the rest of the season now, and I know it's Geno Smith, who played great in the first half, didn't do a lot in the second half. I think I'm leaning towards Seattle in that game. And now it's up to 9, and now it's up to 9.5, by the way.
I know a lot of people that are leaning towards Seattle, but this is a short week, and I think they shot everything on that on Monday night. They gave it all.
And I got to tell you, the line is 40 and the total's 40.5, and I still think it goes under. That's one of the lowest totals this week, and I still don't think it makes it there.
But the reason why we go with Seattle, though, Jason,
Yeah,
is because I think Pete owns Kyle Shanahan. And the NFC West is really weird. One coach owns the other coach.
yeah.
Like Shanahan owns McVay.
No, I know what you're saying.
McVay owns Carroll, and Carroll owns Shanahan.
George Kittle, by the way, questionable in that game for a groin injury, and obviously Trey Lance needs him badly. We'll come back, wrap up this hour of the Cash In. I'm Jason Page at Sports Map Radio.
You should be talking about this college football game, man. You got Florida State, Louisville, 31-28.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Florida State, Louisville, 31-28, fourth quarter.
Yankee bullpen about to blow this game, make me look like an idiot.
Of course. Of course. I don't know why you jumping on the
Domingo Herman.
They put him in the bullpen now?
They got Herman, yeah.
Jesus. Do you think they should put Montas in the bullpen? When does Severino
You don't
come
trade.
back?
You don't trade for a guy like Montas and then just throw him in the bullpen. Now in the postseason, they might if he continues to pitch this way. But not going to do that right now.
When's Severino coming back?
Any day. And they're saying he's throwing high 90s right now. That he could be in the rotation for the postseason.
He better.
You'd like to think so.
You would think
I mean, it's got to be Garrett Cole.
It's called
Cortez.
And
Maybe Tyone.
Tyone's pitched well. He's been the most consistent pitcher.
He really has. He deserves it.
We just don't give him no runs.
Well, he's like Jordan Montgomery last year.
Or this year.
Yeah, true.
All right. Let's see. All right. No answer from Kawakami. Not from Dees. I'm going to the.
Yeah, I would. I mean, look, at this point, unless they can do the last hour, 'Cause I'm not going to put anybody
it's
else in
not,
the
obviously, it
second.
would have to be the last hour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see 925. That's it.
Come on here, Mom. Put this guy away. Jesus.
The jinx. Jason Page is a jinx.
I am not. Nailed it last night
On what?
on the live betting in the Thursday night football game.
Man,
Nailed
you were
it.
lucky.
No, it wasn't
You were
lucky.
lucky.
It's you can't
Oh,
have
yeah,
it
you
both
were,
ways.
Because
On the
guess
live
what?
betting,
Guess what?
it can't be both ways. Can't be
You were
lucky.
lucky 'cause you know
It
what
can't
I'm gonna
be
tell you?
lucky
I'm
when
gonna
I'm
tell you.
right and the
Oh,
mush
they're
when
not
I'm
gonna
wrong.
Score again, and then boom, Hilaire fucking breaks that run.
Still got
You're
the back.
lucky.
Still got the back door.
Oh,
Come back. Hold on. Watching my would-be live Yankees bet right now. Keeping an eye on it. I told all of you, take the Yankees on the money line when it was 5-5 in the fifth. And now it is 5-5 in the bottom of the sixth. And the Brewers have a runner on second base with one out. And the Yankees now are plus 154. Oh, my God. I would be putting everything on this if I had live betting. I would have hit it at, when they were like minus 110. I'd be hitting it even harder now. Even if the Brewers scored a run here, I still would be hammering it. Yankees have had so many come-from-behind wins. We'll keep you posted on what's going on in that game. Get you set for hour number 2. Lot to talk about there, including trouble for Robert Sarver. The signs, not looking good for him either. Aaron Judge, will he remain a Yankee? Some of the signs on that. Plus, Kevin Iole talks boxing as we continue with the Cash In on the Sports Map Radio Network. Hey, you there, Vlad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get my my doctor friend on to talk about NFL injuries, but it's too late.
Uh-oh. All right, that's right to...
Can of corn. Can of corn. Got it. Can of corn. It's a big out. Adames is tough. Oh, you could have gotten the Yankees at like plus 150 a minute ago.
Then why didn't you bet it?
I can't.
All right then. Oh, you can't because you can't do SBG.
I'm not doing offshore. I'm just not a big fan of doing it anymore. Red Sox beat the Royals. Astros lead the A's. Hey, the Mets won. Beat the Pirates.
Let's go.
Cubs have played better lately. Beat the Rockies. Oh, Rangers beat the Rays. Yeah, that's just about it for the Rays for the AL East.
For El Division.
Matter of fact, the Rays are closer to the Orioles than let's see. What are the Orioles? Yeah, Orioles are only 4 back in the loss column on the Rays. I wonder if they play each other again this year. I'd love to see Baltimore good, and I love teams with prospects like that. Okay, he got out of it, I think.
I don't think so. Did he?
Pitching change?
There's a pitching change.
Could be. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, Wandy Parada is coming in.
He's been invaluable for that team. Guy just knows how to get people out. Ain't anything
Old
special.
School, he's like an old school uncle.
Yeah. Braves won, Mets won, so they both have 55 losses.
Mets up a game and a half.
Well, I think they have the same number of losses, though. It's the only thing that matters. Can make up wins. Can't make up losses.
Who said that stupidness?
Hmm?
Who said that stupidness?
John Sterling says it all the time. You make up,
Susan,
Susan, you can make up wins.
Susan, you can make up wins. You can't make up losses.
Can't make up losses. Well, that's baseball.
Ball game's over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right, coming back for the short segment.
You're a short segment.
Another hour starts right now. Sports Map Radio, the Sports Map Radio Network. You want to be a part of it? It's easy. 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. If you want to tweet at the show, you can do it that way as well. At the back page, you can hit me up at the back page if you feel so inclined. Let me know what you think. Anything you want to possibly hit me up on. And every time I go to my Twitter feed, I'm seeing pictures of Arch Manning. Get to that later on in the show. I got a lot to say about that. Mets beat the Pirates tonight, and the Braves were a winner earlier as well, beating the Phillies 7-2. So both of those teams at 55 losses, essentially tied in the number that matters atop the National League East. We'll see who winds up taking that division. Somebody could wind up winning 100 games and being a wild card team. That's no fun. Oh, and look, Julio Rodriguez hit another home run tonight. Ouch. God, I'm just having all sorts of catastrophes here in the studio. I just banged my knee on the table. Man alive. Yankees and Brewers tied at 5. We'll keep you posted there. I told you to hammer the Yankees when it was 5-5 in the 5th, on the money line, on the live betting. I would still hammer them right now, even though they're minus 110. I'd just hit it over and over until the site is like, okay, you've betted enough. You cannot bet it anymore. Anyways, hit us up on Twitter at the back page if you got a thought, or 800-224-2004. Coming up in this hour of the program, it looks like we had talked about it earlier in the week. What could turn this Robert Sarver Phoenix Suns story into a potential situation where he winds up having to sell the team? And you're starting to see the signs that could be pointed in that direction. We'll get to that coming up here in 4 minutes. No trust between Aaron Judge and the Yankees. Does it mean the end for Judge in the Bronx? Kevin Ioli from Yahoo Sports talks boxing later on. We'll do that about 32 minutes from now with a big fight this weekend, Golovkin and Canelo. More of the cashing coming your way next on Sports Map Radio. I ate a pizza. It said worst indigestion ever.
Nasty.
Oh, I have to say, the biggest problem with Palm Springs, and I mean this. This is not hyperbolic. There is no good pizza out here.
Yeah, reason not to go.
It's a big problem. There's just nowhere to get good pizza.
Because I bet you there's no good Chinese food as well.
I mean, Chinese food, there's a place or two that are all right, but when we want good Chinese or dim sum or Korean barbecue, we go to LA. We go to Diamond Bar. Go to LA. We go out that way because it's just a lot more Asian community out there, so they obviously have better food to serve that community.
Wow, Aaron Andrews had a nasty car ride experience.
Yeah, I just saw the headline. I didn't go into the story, though.
Yeah, the driver.
What did the driver do?
Driver fell asleep while she was on
No.
a Zoom call with Burkhart Olsen.
Oh, my God, which means people saw it.
No.
Oh, it's just audio?
On mute.
Oh.
She put it on mute.
Wow.
And asked the gentleman, like, are you effing sleeping? Like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And he got up, and then, like, that was frantic. Like, you'll never want to work with that gentleman again. He's fired, by the way.
The driver?
He's going to have to be fired. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when something like that goes public, there's no way you can survive it.
Not even that. She's going to make mention to it to either Fox or her agent. That's going to get that's already. And then now that it's public, like they're lucky that the name of the driving company or the service is not mentioned.
Oh, so it was like a driving service. It wasn't like Uber or Lyft or something.
I would think so.
I got to look it up.
Because if it was Uber would tell your ass to go to sleep, Like, they would know if you're driving for a long time.
Aaron Andrews. Type in Aaron Andrews and I get her in a bathing suit on the cover of Health magazine. It's like, come on.
Hey now.
Nah, careful.
I just said, hey now. I don't want Jared Stahl beat my ass.
Yeah, say it to his face.
I would say now, hey now. I'll say hey now. He won't know what I'm saying.
Pull your shirt over your head. Start wailing
such
away.
A hockey player. Such a hockey player.
Aaron Andrews says her driver fell asleep while on the highway. This is not the way I want to die. We're coming back. Hold on.
To die.
I got a musical request tonight, Austin. I'll tell it to you during the next break. But I got a request. We're doing requests tonight. Top of the 7th between the Brewers and Yankees, tied at 5. We told you take the Yankees. That was our big pick tonight in the live betting during the first hour. Well, I won't say our. I'll say mine because I don't want to lump in Vlad with me because he didn't like it. But the Yankees minus 106 on the money line right now, and the Brewers are minus 122. And as long as the game is tied at 5, I'd still take it. Just hammer that thing. As much as your sports book will let you. Just hammer it. Coming up in a couple minutes, I want to talk about this Robert Sarver Phoenix Suns story. We were just talking about during the break, though. I saw the headline, but I hadn't read the story. Apparently, Erin Andrews had a really awful car ride when she heard snoring from her driver in the front seat. By the way, first world problem when you have a driver. Just saying. But Erin Andrews had this awful experience. The 44-year-old revealed to Carissa Thompson on Thursday's episode of their podcast, Calm Down with Erin and Carissa. What a great name for a podcast. That a driver who was taking her from Chicago to Green Bay for last week's Packers-Vikings game fell asleep at the wheel. She said while she was in the car, she had a conference call with Fox broadcasters Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen. Members of the Packers, including Aaron Rodgers, were also on the call ahead of Andrews' sit-down with the quarterback. I'm typing. Headphones are working. We're good. I hear snoring. I know it's not Greg Olsen, Kevin Burkhardt, or Aaron Rodgers snoring. It's my driver who fell asleep at the wheel. I'm on a highway from Chicago, Andrews said on the podcast. Thompson clarified by saying, timeout. What do you mean he fell asleep at the wheel? Snoring, sleeping, Andrews replied. Her co-host pressed for more details. And the car is moving? We're not parked, she asked. Moving 65 miles an hour, Andrews said. I'm so thankful I put my phone on mute because we're on a Zoom. I put my phone on mute and I go, are you effing sleeping? Wakes up like Clark Griswold. It was awful. So now I have the quarterback of the team I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to take notes. I have full-blown anxiety. This is not the way I want to go down. This is not the way I want to die. Wow. Said that her anxiety did not dissipate until she reached her destination. She ended the call, requested the driver pull into a drive-thru. I go in, I get him a coffee, Andrews said. He doesn't drink it. The entire car ride, I am like, monitoring if he's sleeping at the wheel. I was also stressed out because I wasn't really paying attention to my conference calls, which are like Bible to me. Concluded the story by explaining she made it to Green Bay safely. I did the interview with Erin. It went great, she said. Worst thing I ever get from a driver is too much cologne. It's about the worst thing I ever get. I used to get car rides all the time from MSNBC back in the day. And they would send these drivers to come get me, and it's like they just put in a bathtub of cologne in the front seat. And they just bathe in it. And you got to smell it the whole way. It's just nauseating. Oh, the worst. Again, first world problem, I get it. But it really, really would reek. And what are you going to say? It is what it is. All right, so Robert Sarver, the situation with the Phoenix Suns. This is going to be a story that evolves every day. I anticipate we'll have updates on this as we continue to move forward. And I said that on yesterday's show to Vlad. This is an evergreen. It's just going to continue to, it's an onion. You continue to peel it off and get different layers of it. And the layer we got on Friday was NBPA Executive Director, Players Association Executive Director, Tamika Tremaglio, saying she was speaking on behalf of NBA players Friday, called for a lifetime ban of Robert Sarver. Now, she's saying it, not the players, and she says she's speaking on behalf of the players. She says, we're absolutely calling for that lifetime ban. We do not want him to be in a position where he's managing or engaging with individuals who are engaging with our players or the players themselves. We are absolutely clear from the findings that are in the report that we do not want him to be in that position. And that wasn't the only hammer that fell on this story on Friday. PayPal, which if you notice the Suns jerseys, they're the jersey patch because now you could have sponsors on your jerseys. PayPal said if after the 1-year ban, Sarver comes back, they're not coming back. That's big bucks. I don't know exactly the number that PayPal pays to be on the uniforms, but I know it ain't cheap. And when you start to see those sorts of stories coming, PayPal is the first. Other sponsors are going to start to feel the pressure. Because obviously there was some campaign that took place that got on PayPal, and they decided we can't be associated with this organization if Robert Sarver is. So if the NBA was hoping that this story would just go away by saying, well, we gave him the maximum fine and a 1-year ban, and all's well that ends well, right? Not so fast. Doesn't look like that's going to make this story go away. And if the head of the Players Association says, I'm speaking out on behalf of the players, and maybe they decided just to do it all in one voice through this NBA PA chief, which is kind of interesting. I would still rather hear the players say it for themselves. But again, that's what you have a Players Association for. And you did get LeBron speaking out. And you did get Chris Paul speaking out. And I'm sure they won't be the first or last to make their voices heard on this. But now it's going to be on other sponsors. Does the story go away between now and training camp? Can't tell me it is. Because right now it still seems to be just kind of sitting there, and that has to mean that somebody's raising hell with sponsors like PayPal, and players are saying we don't want any part of this. However, the problem for the NBA is they can wait for a year. You know what I mean? I mean, they could kind of wait this thing out for the next year. Because the reality is they have that sort of buffer between now and the time that Sarver makes a return to the organization. They don't have to force him to sell the team. They could wait another year. Sponsors aren't going to pull out as long as he's banned. At least it doesn't seem that way. But it'll be interesting to see if they make a decision to do that. Bottom of the 7th right now in the game. It's kind of the live game, the live betting game we were watching tonight. Yankees and the Brewers. 5-5 in the bottom of the 7th between those two teams. Lou Trevino coming in to pitch for the Yankees. Hunter Renfroe will be the batter, or is the batter. Yankees now plus 108 on the money line in that game. And again, that's strictly for one reason. The Brewers get to bat last. But I would still be hammering the Yankees. Set it in the 5th inning. Set it in the 6th inning. I'll say it in the 7th inning. Later in this hour, we'll be joined by Kevin Iole. Talk about boxing with him. I don't want to say this fight snuck up on me. Because, we've just started doing the show. This is only the end of our 2nd week. But this Canelo Alvarez-Gennady Golovkin fight, yeah, it did kind of sneak up on me. With the start of the NFL season, baseball pennant races, U.S. Open was going on, and then all of a sudden you turn around and it's a fight for the ages. For Alvarez and Golovkin to pick up their rivalry again. Man, that's going to be a great fight. See, and that's on pay-per-view. DAZN pay-per-view. That's what it says. So me saying pay-per-view is not a boomer thing. They call it DAZN pay-per-view. I have to find a place to watch that fight on Saturday night. Maybe I'll just drive up to Vegas and go watch the fight. Tickets will probably be an arm and a leg, though. T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. When was the last time you were in Vegas, Flat?
Last year. 2021.
Have you been to the arena?
No, I haven't been to T-Mobile.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
I'm dying to.
I've driven by the football stadium a bunch.
I see the stadium all the time.
Oh, the stadium's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, we have to get there.
I'll try. I'm going to try to get there this season. Like I said, it's only a 4-hour drive from where we are here in Palm Springs. So that and Phoenix are both the same distance. 4 hours, 2 hours to LA, 2 hours to San Diego. It's all doable. Get out there, and hopefully you'll be out here soon enough and you can get out there too. I'm sure there's a Bolt bus with your name on it.
You got jokes.
I kid because I love Should Aaron
Because
Judge?
you took balls before too.
I absolutely have. There was a time where I had to. Will Aaron Judge remain a Yankee? I'm not so sure anymore. I still think he will be, but the more you read some of these stories about the animosity that exists between the organization and Judge's decision not to take a contract before the season started, you start to wonder if he could actually wind up somewhere else next year. We're going to talk about that and more as we continue with the Cash In Sports Map Radio.
All right. Some of those
This umpire hasn't been given anything tonight, and he just gave that low strike call to Trevino. I was shocked.
big win for the Noles.
What'd you say?